Some graves are doors, and some doors are not meant to stay closed. The grave was in section 12B, far from the others, under a dying oak. Plot 392. Name Jonathan Miles Harlow. Age 83. Cause of death listed as natural, but no one came to claim the body. The city paid for the burial, the cheapest box, no ceremony. I lowered the casket myself. Cold soil, no prayers. Next morning it was open. I thought it was kids or animals, so I filled it again, packed the dirt tight. The next day, open again, untouched. No tracks, no signs, only a faint footprint on the lid, not sinking in, but rising out. I dug into the cemetery's archive. Harlow had been a psychiatric patient at the Ashridge home for the criminally insane. He was locked up for 36 years, charges sealed. But the caretaker at Ashridge, an old guy named Thomas, told me one thing before slamming the phone down. That man didn't just talk to himself, he answered. The next night I stayed late. I placed a motion sensor camera facing the grave. It triggered at 3:08 a.m. When I reviewed the footage the next morning, my hands went cold. The earth moved. Not like it was being dug up. No, it breathed. In and out, like lungs under the soil. And then a figure appeared at the edge of the frame, tall, thin, faceless. It bent over the grave and whispered something I couldn't hear. The sound on the tape was scrambled, but right before it cut out, I caught one word: Father. I brought a flashlight, a crowbar, and an old revolver. I hid behind the oak. Midnight passed, then 1, then 2. At 3:10 a.m. I felt it. A shift in the air, heavier still, like the ground stopped breathing to listen. The soil cracked. A pale hand reached through, not decaying, but too smooth, too clean. It felt wrong. Then came the chanting, not loud, not human, like dozens of voices whispering through iron pipes, repeating, "Return, return, return." I ran. Inside the shack the next morning I found letters, scattered on my table. They weren't there before, yellowed, burned on the edges. All signed JMH, Jonathan Miles Harlow. One read, "They told me I could bury it, but it always finds a new host." Another, "The grave is not for me, it's for what followed me home." The last one, "If the ground opens a third time, leave this place." Of course I didn't listen. I went back the third night, no camera, just me and a shovel. The grave was open again, but this time the coffin wasn't empty. Inside, I saw my own name scratched into the lid and the date, tomorrow. Then I heard the whisper behind me. "You kept it closed too long." I turned. No one was there, only a trail of bare footprints leading into the woods. And every light in the cemetery went out. I tried to quit, tried to leave the job, but the contract I signed, it's gone. No record, no replacement for my role. Now every night at 3:08 a.m. the grave opens again. Sometimes I see faces in the dirt. Sometimes I hear my name, and every morning the grave is closed, but closer to my shack. One day it'll reach my door, and when it does, I'll be inside, waiting. Some graves are not resting places, they're traps. And when the earth starts to breathe, it means something beneath is waking. Would you dare to watch what should never rise again?